Welcome back to another episode of the Real Forno Show, where we have updates on the contract restructure of quarterback Kirk Cousins, along with a new signing from an old friend, and that is center Garrett Bradbury, who agreed to a 3-year, $15.75 million contract with the Minnesota Vikings to remain in the purple and gold. That means an average of $5.25 million per year, and quite frankly, that's a pretty fair price for both sides. We saw a very comparable center, albeit in a power gap scheme, in Bradley Bozeman get a contract worth $6 million per year. And Bradbury slotting in right in that range is, well, quite frankly, fair. What I'm really intrigued about, what does the structure look like? How much is guaranteed? Is this basically a one-year deal where the Vikings can get out if Garrett Bradbury goes back to playing like he did in like 2020? This is going to be very interesting. But because the Vikings were able to make this move, all of that was because of the Kirk Cousins restructure, which we have more details on now than when we recorded our video a couple hours ago. And I bring in producer Dave in the top right corner. And we are, look, I don't know if this is exciting or what, but the Vikings are making moves to continue to fortify their roster and getting in. Oh, here's breaking news, Dave. Darren Waller to the Giants.
Okay.
So we'll take a look at that trade compensation when we are done recording. But Bradbury was a very solid piece to that offensive line last year. He was PFF's 10th ranked center. He was good, not great. And one of the reasons being was because the scheme really helped him, and then he was able to make some growth as far as his blocking technique and really starting to leverage some of those bigger defensive tackles and winning those battles that he was not winning before. He still has his struggles, and he still needs to be hidden a little bit, but he's playing better, and better is good. And one of the reasons they were able to get him under contract was the restructure of Kirk Cousins, which, Dave, adds 2 more void years, meaning that the $20 million roster bonus was all that was converted, and it is now over the course of the next 4 years, meaning the next 2 years will have a cap hit of $10.25 million, and the 2 following that, $4 million. What do you think?
It is what it is. They're, it's buying that one-time trip and putting it on a 5-year pay plan type deal. They're spreading out the money, and it does nothing for Kirk in the way he gets his money no matter what, and he gets it. If he signed it today, it gets deposited in the bank today, so he's happy. It's just when we pay it, it's going to be spread out. And if you look at it in the long run with the cap going up, that percentage of the cap keeps going down and down and down. But we'll be paying on him for 4 years that we don't have service of him at that point in time, or that's the way it's presently written. Now, if he has a fantastic season, they can go, hey, we want to renegotiate, and all that cap money gets in, all the dead cap gets included, and it just, we'll be talking about it next year too. But it does make him cheaper. So, and it moves room so that we can sign Bradbury. We could sign Duke Shelley if that's coming next. It's all that stuff can happen.
No, 100% can happen. And what I'm really intrigued about, where does this leave the Vikings on an extension with Kirk Cousins? Because if you are trying to extend Cousins, you're going to want to spread out those cap hits over the course of 4 years instead of just those 2 years, because those first 2 cap hits don't give you any form of flexibility. A signing bonus of $10.25 million does give you some flexibility because you can always put some extra money on the back end. I think that they want to keep that option open, which I think is a really smart move for the front office. Even if you don't like Kirk Cousins, even if you don't want him on your football team, you want to keep your options open and not pigeonhole yourself into doing X, Y, or Z. So being able to have that and that option of just, hey, we can bring him back if we want. And that's honestly better for everybody involved. I still don't rule out a possible trade. It would kind of hinder the cap this year, but I think the idea being that it would only increase his total cap hit by, I think, $2 million with a trade based on what it was before this restructure. So it'd be $38.25 million. And the new team gets a very palatable $10 million contract for Cousins before they work out an extension. And then you can front load the contract and give him like an extra $20 million this year. And there are ways you can go around it. So I really think all options are still open with Kirk Cousins, and that includes continuing to play out this year and hitting free agency and potentially leaving the Vikings. What I do like about this front office is that they're trying not to close any doors they don't have to. And honestly, that's the smartest way to run a football team. Keep everything in front of you and be able to go into different pools for both talent and also for both like assets.
Flexibility.
Well.
Yeah. They keep it, hey, that may be the better option down the road, and we don't see that option. But it gives them more options down the road on how they can attack an off season. And it's good. I'm liking what Kwesi is doing so far in those respects. Seems smart.
I think it's very smart. And then we just got word that Darren Waller was traded to the Giants for a third-round pick this year. Woof. Not great for the Raiders, but now it explains the Jacoby Myers signing a little bit. In the meantime, thank you all for tuning in. If we have more breaking news throughout the next few hours, we will be jumping on live. We're going to make sure Dave gets his power nap because he is a very, very busy man. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think about this move. Let us know what you think about the Vikings offseason in general, and we will see you down in the comments. Thank you, and SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings! Like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications. It helps us grow this community that we all love our Minnesota Vikings. And on behalf of Tyler Forness and myself, Dave Stefano, thank you so dearly for watching The Real Forno Show. SKOL, everyone!